next job is to add a data. What is the employee name, phone number, department status? Okay. If you notice that I never get that data from a user that created date, updated date. That is not giving any input from the end user. Okay. Because when we create any data, any record, no need to take who is created and what is your current date. If you use or if you create that input box in such manner, then data will be manipulated. Your data will be manipulated. So for that, we cannot take the value of date, current date, and or any other who is created that record. That data will not be taken from the end user. We can add that data in our component file. When we make a data object, we have to send that object. We can create the data in our object file or a component file. Okay, so that will not be manipulate that data. Okay, that is very good when we register any record. Okay, while you are registering any Gmail account, in that case also you not be mentioned that who is created that data and what is the date of created date. Okay, so no need to require to enter that things, all these things. So here also we can get the data, employee name, phone number, and department and status. Okay, all the data will be collected in our component file. Okay, with the help of template reference variable that we applied on a form tag. Okay, here we create a form. In that form, we use a template reference variable. With the help of the template reference variable, we collect that data and make it a JSON object. Send that object to directly your backend server. Okay, so for that, just we created one object here. Already we called that on submit method. That is, we use event directive. That is ng submit. Whenever we click a button, it directly call the on submit method. In that, we pass the f. Okay, and that f we received with the ng form class. It is an inbuilt class present in your Angular forms. Okay, that we imported last time. Now here we make it one JSON object to send a data to backend. So make it as a let obj equal to curly bracket. Inside that we have to make a key. Okay, whatever the data is sending, you have to use appropriate key. That key is used in your backend. Okay, same key you have to use here and pass or assign the data to that particular key. For example, the employee name. First, I am a enter the employee name, so we can check out whether your instance member in your entity class, what is the name is there? That is the name. That is your JSON object key. Okay, whatever the entity you return in your backend, that is your key of that JSON object, because that object you have to pass to backend. So name is your key. So you can just mention your name and the name, which data we have to assign it, the end user data. So that data will be present in your template reference variable. That is, we send that from view to component f dot value dot, then check out whether it's a same name is used. So name attribute, we use a name as it is your key name. So you can use a name. Okay, then next key is check out that key, phone number, department status, all this data is present. So I just copy that data or okay, I just make it mention it. Sorry. Okay, just copy the department IT and we use it here, department IT again, f dot value dot, maybe department IT is as it is a name I used here. We can check here. department ID, status, phone number, department. As it is name is present, so I'm just directly use that name. Okay. Next key is a phone number, and just copy that name, phone number, use it in your object colon f dot value dot phone number. The next is the status. So we can use the status f dot value dot up. It's next name, department, phone number, status, and next we use I think country. So country is a object. Okay, so I have to send full object to your backend. So for that, here the country we can use directly country. If you have to make it country colon or create an object that is CID in CNAME, if you want to send in that fashion, you can send it, or we can check if whether send full object to that, assign that object to the country, then it will get a return or that will also check here. So simply we can write here f dot value dot the name of attribute. What the name of attribute we use here, we just check it. Maybe country, yes, correct. Country, as it is, we use the country. Now that also I have to send a data that is created by created date. So created date I have to send. So we have to use a current system date, because when it create the data, so we use that current system date. For that we use created date, and we use a inbuilt function that is the date.now. The date.now we get the current system date, time, your also geographical location. It's take it and send that your backend. So it is very important where the request is comes from. It request comes from Mumbai or Asia zone, Western zone. So all this information we get it with the help of the date.now. Now next is a created by. Who is a created that record? User created by. That data is also present in our session storage. Okay, we already the session storage that data. So we use a session storage dot get item, because we can already make it in session storage at the time of login. So whatever the username here, we can mention that username. Okay, then next updated by an updated date. That the record is created first time. Okay, so updated by and updated date is the same as a created date and created by. Okay, so we can copy that these things and just use here updated date as it is date dot now we can use it. Okay, second updated by is the same as who is the login of that admin portal. That will be name we have to mention here updated by. That is we can get the session storage dot get item and mention your key, that is a username. Okay, now to send that data to a backend server, for that we use again service. We have to create the method in the service, and simply we can mention here add the record, add a record. And for add record we have to send your object, that is a JSON object. Okay, first we create that add record in our HTTP service file. Here we create that add record. It takes a JSON object of type any. We can make it at any type. It is a JSON object, and we can here use this dot HTTP dot post method, because when we send a data or add a record, we can use post method. Also, we can create the post mapping in your backend code. Okay, that post method takes first argument is a URL. So for that we use a backtick operator and dollar curly bracket. In that we use this dot base URL. Okay, after that base URL we can mention the your API name. So just copy that API name or okay, that API name is add employee. I just get that name and use here add employee. Then the second argument of that post method is your object. So whatever the object is there, we can mention here. Okay. Now here we have to use a third argument as well. Okay, that is the third argument is optional. Okay, why we use the third argument? Because when we create a post mapping for the add employee, that add employee return type is a string. It is not any JSON object. Okay, simply a string. So Angular doesn't understand the string message because by default Angular understands a JSON object. But from the backend we send or we give the response in the string format. Okay, for that we have to use a third argument for to receive a response in a text format. We use a response. Okay, we have to create a JSON object. In then JSON object, we have to mention that response type. There is a key, and mention the response type is in format text. Okay, by default it is JSON object. That no worry to mention that it is a JSON object, but other that the response is there. If you're sending a response in a text format, sending any number format, so explicitly you have to mention that a response type, that is a text. Okay, and it returns a observable. So here we can return a observable from that method. Okay, just I have to mention that observable. Sorry. Okay, now in your add employee, here is the return type is observable, so we can call it's a subscribe method. In that subscribe method, first argument is a fat arrow function. We can mention that a response. Okay, make it as a fat arrow function. Inside that, initially we can just console.log. Okay, then console.log for checking purpose whether response is getting a proper way or not. So just console.log and check out that this response is getting or not, and just check out my backend server is started or not, because it's unfortunately it is a break the connection. I also add the dependency injection to make it connection as it is to make it idle, but still it not be working because it is a local host. I'm using localhost server. Maybe that's a problem occur. So I have to start every time that backend server. Okay, now we can check. We have to add. Okay, can we add the data? We can add the data. Chalo, we can add that Hamid data. Okay, Hamid. What is the surname? He. Okay. Employee phone number 123467890. Our department is a developer. Status, we can mention that active. Which country you want, Hamid? India, Africa, you say? Okay, India, fine. So we can just send that data. Just for that, we can inspect that. We can console whether response is getting or not. Okay. See here, I send that. We get the response, employee, whatever the name of that employee added successfully. Okay, if you check that data in your DB, I will check that database in your employee. Here, Hamid is record is added of whatever the data is as it is, data is there. And here current date is there. And whatever the country we use for that, we use a CID. Okay, the Lokesh asked the questions, what is a response type? So the response type is, if I pass a JSON object of add employee. Okay, Lokesh asked if I pass a JSON object of the add employee. In that case, no need to mention the response type. If you are sending a response here, if you are sending a response JSON object from the backend, then don't use the third argument. Okay, but and okay, if you are not using any JSON object, then you have to explicitly mention that response type.